Jerome Powell's speech, resignation rumors and Fed chair controversy. Imagine a world where the leader of the free world is at odds with the person responsible for steering the country's economy. Sounds like a recipe for disaster, right? But here's where it gets interesting. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell is set to deliver a speech tomorrow, and the rumors are swirling that it could be his resignation speech. But what's really going on behind the scenes? To understand the drama unfolding, let's take a step back. Recently, President Donald Trump reportedly considered firing Powell, but ultimately decided against it. Now, Powell is scheduled to give a speech at 8:30 AM Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, and the anticipation is building. John Pulte, the Director of Federal Housing, has even taken to social media to speculate that Powell's speech might be his last as Fed chair. But Pulte was quick to clarify that he doesn't think tomorrow's address will be a formal resignation. So, what's behind the tension between Powell and the Trump administration? It all started when Powell found himself at loggerheads with the administration over monetary policy. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent added fuel to the fire by suggesting that the Federal Reserve's independence is under threat due to its mandate creep into non-policy areas. Bessent called for a thorough review of the Fed's operations, which didn't sit well with Powell. But here's the thing, Trump has been vocal about his dissatisfaction with Powell, urging him to resign over the central bank's reluctance to cut interest rates. And if that wasn't enough, Trump has also been critical of the $2.5 billion renovation of the Fed's Washington headquarters, which has gone over budget. Trump even suggested that there might be fraud involved, which could be a reason to oust Powell. But that's not all. Congressmember Anna Paulina Luna has formally referred Powell to the Department of Justice for a criminal investigation, alleging that he knowingly misled Congress and executive branch officials about a taxpayer-funded project. And this is the part most people miss. Luna claims that Powell's actions constitute a serious offense, especially for someone responsible for overseeing the country's monetary system. Meanwhile, Bessent has declined to comment on reports that he advised Trump not to fire Powell. Instead, he focused on the importance of reviewing the Fed's operations, saying, "If this were the Federal Aviation Administration, and we were having this many mistakes, we would go back and look at why. Why has this happened?" Bessent's comments are particularly interesting, given that Trump has mentioned him as a possible replacement for Powell. So, what do you think? Should Powell resign, or is he being unfairly targeted by the Trump administration? Should the Fed's independence be protected at all costs, or is it time for a change in leadership? Let us know in the comments. And this is where it gets controversial. Some argue that Powell's resignation would be a disaster for the economy, while others claim that it's necessary to restore trust in the Federation. But one thing is certain, tomorrow's speech will be closely watched, and the outcome could have far-reaching implications for the country's economic future. As we wait with bated breath for Powell's speech, one question remains: what's next for the Fed, and how will it impact you? Stay tuned for more updates, and don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments below. Breaking: Trump allies share fake Powell resignation letter. Federal Reserve drama explained. Imagine waking up to news that the head of the U.S. Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, had abruptly resigned, only to discover it was all a hoax. That's exactly what happened in Trump's political circle recently, exposing a tangled web of speculation, gullibility, and ongoing tensions between the White House and America's central bank. The drama unfolded when a suspicious resignation letter began circulating on pro-Trump social media platforms, claiming Powell would step down by day's end. High-profile figures like Senator Mike Lee, Republican Utah, and conservative commentator Benny Johnson swiftly shared it, before deleting their posts in embarrassment. "I deleted it out of caution," Lee admitted, acknowledging he hadn't verified it. Johnson bluntly labeled it fake and warned followers not to share it, though he reiterated his desire for Powell's resignation. So why was this letter so obviously bogus? For starters, it was riddled with typos and featured an illegible Federal Reserve seal that looked artificially generated. But here's where it gets controversial. The fake letter tapped into very real animosity between Trump and Powell. Trump, who appointed Powell in 2017, has relentlessly criticized him for not cutting interest rates, even polling GOP lawmakers on whether he should fire Powell, a move with questionable legal grounds. Powell has steadfastly refused to resign, citing his commitment to the Fed's independence. Meanwhile, the White House is now scrutinizing a $2.5 billion renovation of the Fed's D.C. headquarters, with officials like James Blair and Russell Vought sidestepping questions about whether this probe is a pretext to pressure Powell. This isn't Lee's first misstep either. He previously shared a fake report of Jimmy Carter's death months before the former president actually passed away. Trump recently downplayed the urgency of removing Powell, noting his term ends in 2026, but the fake letter incident reveals deeper fractures. And this is the part most people miss. The Fed's autonomy is designed to shield it from political whims, but how long can that hold under sustained pressure? The big question is the White House's focus on the Fed spending a legitimate oversight effort or a politically motivated distraction? Should central banks be completely immune to political criticism, or is some accountability necessary? Share your thoughts.